Probably at this point, you know how to create images using ChatGPT, MidJourney, or other AI tools. However, there is a huge trick to stay consistent. And in that case, it's going to help you a lot as a designer. So for instance, if you're doing branding, if you're doing advertising campaign, you need to be consistent with your visuals. And this is what we're going to discover today, how to use ChatGPT, MidJourney, DeepSeek, and other AI tools to stay consistent and to come up with amazing AI workflow to help us as designers. You're still needed in there. Stay tuned. We need you as a designer. AI is not going to do everything for you. You're still needed for your eyes and even for final touches and coming up with clean work. So without further ado, let's see how we can do that. So here's a sneak peek of what we're going to discover in this video. For instance, this is ChatGPT, as you can tell, and it's been creating for us different stuff. So for instance, this is an image, mood board, and we have sketches, we have logos, we have refined our sketches to come up with cleaner logos, we have stationery or branding identities, as you can tell, and you can see we have different variations in there. We have even brand manual, as you can tell, and what to do and what not to do. We have taglines, we have another manual in detail a little bit, and we do have Instagram posts created for us, as you can tell. And also we do have Facebook ads. So you can see we have a little bit more interesting designs in these images. So you want to see how we can create that? Let's dive in. So as you can tell here, I'm using ChatGPT, and we're going to start by creating a project, not a new chat. And we're going to create a project by clicking in here, new project. Then you can give it a name. Then you can create your own project. So let's do that from scratch in a new tab. So here's a new tab. Clicking in here, plus we can call it anything. Let's say it's going to be a branding project for a client called Asco. So it's going to be Asco, our branding. And this is, by the way, a real client with that name. And I've done them corporate identity or visual identity for their brand. And of course, we have some variations in here, but it's a real world project. So let's create that one. You can give it also another name like branding or anything like that. And once you have created your own project, you can add files to that one and add instructions. And why we did create a project, not a new chat, because simply later, if we want to create other design elements for the same client, the project will be containing all these files, and I don't have to tell ChatGPT about it every time starting again. So I don't have to tell him, I'm going to create a design for a client called Asco, and he's asking for Instagram posts and stuff like that. No, we have that saved in projects. And we can create new chats in that project related to that one. So also you can customize ChatGPT for that project. So for instance, you can click in here. You can ask it to maybe keep answers short or anything like that. I'm not going to add instructions in that case. So let's cancel that. And I'm not going to add files now. Anyway, we're not going to start from scratch to save you times, guys, because we're going to use model 03, which is newly released by ChatGPT. And if you're watching that video while 05 released or whatever the name will be, it's even going to be better because, like, believe me, 03 is amazing. So let's start from the beginning. How did we go? And the reason I'm using the one I created already because like 03 takes time to generate responses, so it's going to take time. So let's go through the workflow. I started by identifying my client to ChatGPT. I've been telling ChatGPT about its name, what they are doing, what they are selling, are there services or anything like that. So for instance, they are selling hoses and petroleum oils, maybe car oils or industrial oils and stuff like that. The client asked me for red color. She loves the red color, by the way, she's a female, the owner of the brand. And that's real world scenario. She asked me, I prefer red color and I want that one in my brand. So I started thinking about using black and red and stuff like that when I was doing my own workflow. However, let's see how we used AI to do that for us. So I told ChatGPT about that. And even if you have sketches in mind or preferences, you can upload them as well. However, I started with only text, telling the ChatGPT about my client. Asked him to give me his brand visualization, what he's imagining for that brand, and the main theme for the brand, how I should be approaching that brand visually, okay? Actually gave me a very good response, gave me brand essence, including attribute, precision, strength. So for instance, strength, it's gonna be industrial grade products. So in that case, visual language should feel tough and dependable, okay? So basically these are points you need to think about when you are approaching your brand visually and brand voice as well. Then we have color strategy, and I told ChatGPT that we prefer red, so we have Ask Red, and it gave me pitch black with its color code as well. And we have steel gray, machinery, silver. So basically it gave me like 4 colors, or mainly red and black, because like you can think of gray and black as the same thing, hues and shades of the same color, if we're gonna call black as a color, of course. And it's recommending usage ratio of 50% gray, white, 25 red, 20 black, 5% silver. And he's telling me why he's using only 20% red in that example. So he's saying this prevents a palette from feeling too heavy while keeping the red punchy, okay? When you think about Vodafone, they're not doing that. Aramix, they're not doing that, but that's a good recommendation as well. Then for logo concept directions, here he's giving me 3 directions. We have, first one will be monogram plus flow. We have pressure, chevron, and we have fluid shield. And for each one of these, we have visual hook, basically a description. So for the first example, it's using the letters with focusing on the letter S. And for pressure chevron, it's using the bold ASCII word mark capped by 45-degree chevron or arrow, something like that. That resembles both pipeline, elbow, and arrow of forward motion. Then we do have fluid shield and explanation as well. And I know sometimes it's quite hard to keep reading and visualizing that. So this is where we're gonna use ChatGPT as well to create images and visuals for us. And by the way, guys, if you don't know how to use the model, maybe I've skipped that part, but it's so easy. When we started our project and we created a new chat, you can select your model from here. So here's the model. We are using O3 currently. However, when we need to create an image, we're going to use 4O, because like O3 doesn't create images, and O3 is like replacing O1. It's way better, and we're going to see that now. So let's go back to the logo concept directions. We have typography as well. So we have family, primary sans, and we have secondary sans. It's going to be Roboto, and we have the use for body, text, and data sheets. We have the primary sans, then 2014, or Montserrat for headlines, logo type, signage. And for numerics, we have space mono. This is optional as well. So you can see it's really helping you with imagining your brand already, even without any visuals. However, you can disregard all of that. These are suggestions, but it's like keeping your mind organized, and this will make you sound a lot professional when you're dealing with the client. So let's go to graphic language and assets as well. We do have flow lines, we have pressure icons, we have industrial texture, chevron device. And to be honest with you guys, I'm not gonna keep reading everything in that text. You can pause the screen and read it if you will. However, the main idea behind these videos is that you get the concept of using AI tools in your workflow and how you can use them as co-designer or co-pilot or something like that. It doesn't matter which model we're using, because like they keep evolving rapidly, as you know. Then we do have the core stationery layouts, where we have letterhead, we have business card, envelope, and lubricant drum hose sleeves. So for instance, letterhead, we have top left logo, again, description with 20% red. It's really hard to imagine that. And this is where we're gonna get visuals in a moment. Stay with me, okay? Then we do have brand, voice, and tagline, which is really important. So for instance, here we have voice, direct, engineered, no fluff. I really like the no fluff thing, especially in my videos as well. So for instance, here we have example tagline, ASCII, pressure perfected. Then we do have immediate next steps for you. So we're gonna start by mood board. He's telling me to get mood board, gather images, braided hoses, oil surface tension, and stuff like that. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to do that for me. And of course, you need to do your own work as well. So don't get too lazy here. And also we do have sketch and iterate. So we're gonna start prototype 3 logo routes. We do have mockup core and collateral for letterhead, business cards, and stuff like that. And we have brand manual. So as you can see, that's a solid start by ChatGPT. Then I started asking taglines for the brand or slogans, and I asked it for 10 that matches the brand voice suggested by ChatGPT, and actually it gave me 10 in here. I didn't like them and I asked him for 10 more. He gave me 10 more, and I started using DeepSeek as well. So as you can see, I asked him for 10 and I got like 10, another 10, another 10. I love doing that. I can start by asking for 100, but I feel optimistic that 10 will be sufficient. But you know what? I keep asking myself, okay, maybe I need more. So I keep getting more and asking for maybe 2 words slogan, shorter one, stuff like that. And eventually the client selected a different slogan. So I told ChatGPT about that one. So here, for instance, I said client likes fluid energy. What do you think? And actually it thought well for that one, and it gave me strength points and watch outs as well. It gave me as well recommendations for enhancing the one we settled on with the client, fluid energy. Then I told him, okay, the client likes fluid energy. Remember that one, and let's move to the step number 8 proposed by you, which is immediate next steps. Remember that one, we're going to start by mood board. Okay. Can you create one mood board as suggested? And actually it started doing that. I forgot to switch to 4.0 model for creating images. So it gave me text with like color universe, typography stack, which is really helpful as well. However, I want to see visuals. Okay, so I switch it to 4.0. I asked it to create an image for the mood board, and it gave me that one, a very cool one. You know what? The mood board is really important for the client to see what he or she likes. So you can gather some images and some color palettes and stuff like that and show it to the client and see what he or she likes. Then you can go through that direction instead of going blindly in a totally different direction that the client won't really like at the end. Okay, so it gave me that one. Of course, you can keep asking for different mood boards. So maybe you can create 3 and show them to the client, each one of them in a different art direction, and see what he or she likes. Okay. Then we gone for the logo, went back to step 8. Let me go back to step 8 so you can remember where we're going with that. I moved to sketch and iterate. So I asked it 4.0 to create sketches for the logo. So it gave me these sketches in here, which you know, some of them could be cool, but I didn't really like them, to be honest with you. So I showed him what I created for the client. And remember, I told you you're still needed as a designer because like AI, yeah, it's doing stuff. It's creating images, it's creating logos, sketches and stuff like that. But you are the creative one. You have the eyes. You can edit the created stuff by AI to come up with something perfect or near or close to perfect. Okay. So let me show you guys that one enlarged on my PC. Of course, I designed that one in Illustrator. So these were the logo options for the client. Of course, was description for them. So yeah, the client selected that one. Okay, that's the final logo we had. I really liked number 1 as well. So anyway, I uploaded that one to ChatGPT to go in similar direction because I didn't really like the initial sketches. Of course, when you see the difference, you can see why I didn't like them. So it went closer to that direction. And you might be asking, okay, if I'm gonna give ChatGPT everything, what's the point? How it's even helpful? And let me show you a quick trick as well, because I told you we're gonna use different AI tools. So here, MidJourney will play a huge role. Let's go to MidJourney, and once you log in, this is also included in the comparison between ChatGPT for creating images and MidJourney. MidJourney has a huge library created by other creative users, so you can come up with what they've done before. So for instance, I can start typing in search part petroleum logo and I'll get different options. Of course, you don't have to use MidJourney. You can use even other mockup website like Freepic or any other website, or even search Google for petroleum logo. And once you have a direction that you like, you can upload that one to ChatGPT and ask it for an inspiration or similar art direction. So for instance, usually I like to type abstract as well, abstract logo. And you can start to see similar logos that you will find in other websites like Freepic, because like AI initially trained on the original human-made logos. But like, yeah, you can see slight or minor deviations in AI, which make it quite unique, not copy paste from other humans, you're using AI for going in other directions. So for instance, check this one out. I really like this one. And it can be used even in my case, maybe with some tweaking. So you can download that logo and upload it to ChatGPT and tell it about that direction, go in that direction. And this is what I did. I used my own logos. However, let's go back to ChatGPT. Let's close this one and let's type red logo. You can see even with the color, more inspiration in there. You can start feeling you are getting closer to inspiration as a designer, okay? Because remember, designers need inspiration. You can't invent the wheel. Sometimes you do, but not every task, So as you can tell, we have cool visuals in there. You can use that one to upload it to ChatGPT. And this is actually what I did initially when I was creating these logos. I've been using MidJourney to come up with these cool visuals. So I uploaded that one and I got more decent logos. I like these visuals even better. Still, the human version, in my opinion, are looking way better. And I'm not saying that because I created them, but you can tell, okay? Maybe I'm saying that because I created them after all. But yeah, we're getting close, okay? And even you can start using MidJourney to create that one for you, because like you can upload a sketch or you can start creating them in MidJourney. Why not? Leonardo, any AI generative tool can help you with that matter, okay? Anyway, let's get back to our logo. Before reaching that point of creating our logo, I need to pause here for a second and show you guys how we can come up with our logo like that. So to come up with that logo in here, I will show you a workflow as well. So let's say we liked that one in MidJourney, because like, to be honest with you guys, MidJourney usually gives me more aesthetically pleasing results, and I feel I can use them when it comes to logos. That doesn't mean ChatGPT isn't good, because like I have other use cases for ChatGPT that will surpass even MidJourney. So let's see how we can do that. Let's say we liked maybe any of these, okay? Maybe that one. It's very simple, okay? We're gonna download that one and start using Illustrator, because at the end of the day, you still need to use Illustrator to create a logo. You're not gonna get a generated image and present it to the client and tell him, okay, we have a final logo in JPEG mode, and that's it. And that's why you still need to learn these tools. And by the way, I do have dedicated course teaching Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign in detail along with AI tools. Anyway, let's go to Illustrator, where we have that file in here. This is the sketching phase of me doing that logo for the client. And I rarely show that to anyone because like it's so messy, as you can tell, but I will show you the main idea in here. So for instance, I liked that one in MidJourney. I liked the colors. They are really stunning, and I like video games, and it reminded me of them a lot, okay? Maybe it's mimicking a video game studio or something like that. So I thought of using these gradients from the generated image. You can simply use the eye picker and start clicking in here, get the color, and okay, we have a permission thing, and get the color and add everyone to the swatches, create a gradient. I'm not gonna go through the steps in this video because like I've been teaching Illustrator for a lot and I have videos dedicated for that. Okay, so I have the color, I have the gradient in here. If we draw marquee tool, we can use the gradient. You can see it's close enough. We have even a radial one. I also liked another abstract shape like that one. Remember using abstract for logos when you're searching? I like that shape. It resembles a drop. And remember, our client is selling oils and she likes drop shapes. I know that because I've done here another brand as well. So yeah, I thought we need to have a drop shape within our options. So that one is created by MidJourney actually, but I can start tweaking that one a bit, okay? Easily, if you have an image, you can click on the image and start tracing that image in Illustrator, and it will give you a very clean result like that. Especially if it's a geometric shape, not so complicated, you will get a very close or even a similar shape. Then I started tweaking that shape, coming up with something like that from the shape, and even removing some of these circles because like we don't want to have a very complicated logo at the end of the day. Sometimes minimal is way to go. And starting with colorizing that one. This one also was created by MidJourney, and I started cutting parts of it, see if I can use it for the logo. You know, this is a process I go through sometimes when creating logo. Another shape in here, and even that shape I started cutting parts from the shape, creating hoses like shape, and even it looks like a helmet, a Romanian helmet, if you will, to my eyes. I feel like that. Then that inspired me to come up with another shape like that. As you can see, this shape is being cut from that original shape. So as you can tell, you can start by an AI generated image, then you can extract a very unique and creative shape, because that shape, the final result, isn't really created by AI. AI created probably that part, but not that part. So yeah, you can quickly live trace the shape from Illustrator. You will, once you put an image in here, let's see how we can do that. You can drag and drop any image in Illustrator like so. This is an image. Once you have an image, you can click on image trace and bam, we have that one as a vector shape. So remember that. This is just an example, of course, but like you can convert any image into vectors. Then you can maybe refine that one a bit, come up with clean shape that can be used as a logo, as you can tell. And I've been inspired when it comes to color palettes by AI in some cases, like that image. And in other cases, like this one reminds me of DHL, Vodafone, and stuff like that. Remember, you gotta keep doing visual feeding, okay, as a designer, so you have a huge library in your brain, okay, when it comes to visuals. Even here, if you take a look, we used the chevrons as suggested by AI as well, and actually it looks really cool. We have more variations for that one. Check these out, more chevrons. So this is the sketching phase. Usually it's really cool, and usually you can create a similar huge sketch in Illustrator in one session. It doesn't take time. Once you start sitting down, you gather your images and inspiration, you will feel the flow going. Give it a try, maybe with your favorite song or whatever you'd like to listen to while you're doing that. It's gonna be amazing. Anyway, now since we do have our final logo approved by the client, we're gonna upload and feed that one to the same project in ChatGPT and start asking for branding elements, stationery if you will. So I asked it for stationery, including letterhead, envelope size, block note, mugs and stuff like that, and it created this for me. Decent, but not what I would imagine as a designer. This is not my level as well, but inspiring still, because sometimes when it comes to branding, the distribution of colors is really challenging. You need something to help you with that. So yeah, you can start in here creating that one in ChatGPT. Also, you can do that MidJourney, and tada, as you can see, you can see something like that. Very cool in MidJourney. Actually, I typed here red and black branding, and it gave me awesome stuff where it could be very inspiring for me. So for instance, if we click on that one, look at how cool is that. This is very cool. I really like it. So maybe let's say like any of these you like, maybe that one, you can download that one and ask ChatGPT to create a similar image, or even you can download that one from MidJourney and feed it to the text prompt in here and start asking for a similar visual for a different brand. Then at that point you have a unique design. You're not mimicking any other human, hopefully, by doing that, and it's gonna be aesthetically pleasing, which is really important for the client after all. So anyway, it came up with that. I used MidJourney version to come up with something cooler, if you will, and it gave me that. It started mimicking MidJourney like that. And remember, at this point, as a designer, you wanna know how you're gonna distribute your colors, where you're gonna use the red at how much, and the black and other colors and stuff like that. So I started thinking of giving it my own design, because like this one I did, let me show you guys this one. This is what I created for the client after all, and that's why I'm telling you what AI created isn't still my own style, isn't maybe my own taste. and maybe it's not going to be the client taste as well. So you're still needed in here. You still need to learn how to use the traditional tools or the standard industry applications, Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. I will keep repeating that because at the end of the day, you need to have control. AI is a great asset, but it's not replacing you, I think, anytime soon. Let alone that vibe of, oh, AI is going to replace that and that and that. I think AI is a great asset. Just like when computers came out, artists back then used to do everything by their hands, movie posters and stuff like that. By the 80s, computers started doing that. Maybe in 90s even, not 80s, because like it was so primitive back then. However, still in my opinion, if you are starting out as a designer or you don't have that great experience, you can use AI to come up with everything for you. And maybe you can get away with that in so many scenarios. So anyway, I created that one in Illustrator and I used mockup from Freebec to present it in a very cool way like that. And again, I have dedicated videos in the same course about the graphic design, which you can find its link in resources or the comments below or wherever you're watching this video, on how to design inside the mockup itself to save yourself time and to come up with something beautiful like that. And by the way, guys, I do have other options as well for the client. So we have another variation with less black. We have this one with strong red. I like that approach as well, just like DHL, Vodafone and stuff like that. And another option, as you can tell, and solid reds like that. Anyway, the client really liked this option in here. I started giving and feeding ChatGPT with that one to see what it will do. It started mimicking me to a good extent, which tells you something. You can download from Google, from any other website, a cool stationery or branding elements and start from there instead of starting from scratch. So yeah, it's very close. Still, I think the original one looks way neater, especially when it comes to logos. So let's zoom in. We have some distortions in here and there. So remember, when it comes, especially for branding and logos, you can't use that as a final product. You need to re-enhance and define these results because AI will mess with these proportions. I did the same as well with MidJourney. So let's see what we got in there. Here, I uploaded that one to O3 and started asking what could be the text prompt to create a similar image in MidJourney. So imagine it gave me the text prompt in there and I copied that one and I went to MidJourney. Some cool results as well in MidJourney could be used for inspiration. I started introducing the logo along with my own original image to see where it will get closer. As you can tell, we have the same issue with the logo. It doesn't create something accurate, but it could be very good for inspiration and maybe presentation as well. You can get this image and start placing your own mockups in there if you know how to do that, or use a ready-made mockup. But I like the distribution of colors in here. It's very subtle and it looks very neat. Then I started going back to my own steps, asking for brand visual manual to be used by the client for future use cases. And it gave me that one. Again, you can't use that one as a final one for the client because the logo is distorted in here. And this should be in the brand manual, for instance, as a no-go. You can't use the logo in that way to distort it by destroying its proportions like that. However, the layout could be cool, could be inspiring for you. Also, you can use a ready mockup from the internet, or I believe there is a template in InDesign for that one. You can check that one out as well. So I started asking it again because, like, remember, it gave me that one among the points at the beginning of the chat. So I copied that one and pasted that one in here. Use mini guide, 8 to 10 slides, color codes, safe zone, improper uses for the client. So I forgot to switch to 4.0 and actually give me a very nice text that I can copy and paste for the client, maybe in Note or something like that, along with the visuals. So for instance, tagline for the slide, we have slide 2, primary logo and stuff like that, including color codes. Of course, if you have final colors, you need to verify that for ChatGPT. So he's gonna create something accurate for you in that case. However, let's disregard that text for now and let's see what it created as visuals. I switched it to 4.0 and I ask it for an image visualizing ASCO brand usage mini guide. So again, it gave me that image, which could be very helpful, especially if you are a starting designer or if you don't know how to create a brand manual. Indeed, it's not a final one as well. Remember that, because like we have distortions within our logo. However, we do have some nice guides in there, including incorrect uses for the logo. We do have the positive and negative elements or looks for the logo and stuff like that. You can start getting inspiration from there and create a similar one in Illustrator in probably 2 or 3 minutes. Doesn't take a lot, especially if you do have the logo already. Then down to the core part in here, I asked it to create 9 grid images of different Instagram posts complying with the brand's rules and color scheme or palette. It did well actually, because like I didn't give him any images for the products or anything, and it did okay, it did amazing. Actually, the client was asking for something similar to that one and similar to that one. So yeah, you have a great starting point in there. You can create similar designs in Photoshop or Illustrator or even in Canva in a few minutes. Okay, you have the inspiration, which is the essential part, ready and made for you. Then I thought of challenging that one with that text prompt in here. I asked it to create a similar image, 9 different designs for Facebook ads, complying with the brand's rules, and I've added to make them catchy for users to purchase the brand's products. And it started doing even more interesting visuals. Like for instance, you can see the difference between that one and that one in here. We have some textures added to the background, if you can tell. And we have that nice drop of oil, very professional. And what I really like about that is the consistency. And that's what's really cool about that video, is that I know that you probably know how to create images, but how to stay consistent to be helpful images for you as a branding designer or even advertising campaign, this is really huge. And even I asked it for a landing page for the website and it gave me that one. I felt it's too simple, so I asked it for a longer full landing page and it gave me even that one, clean, modern. I really like that one. I can start working with that one out. Even you can use Sora to create some certain elements for you. For instance, ChatGPT will be creating one image per request when you are inside ChatGPT until this point when you're watching this video. However, if you go to Sora, which is by ChatGPT, if you don't know that, you can access Sora from here on left side, or simply type sora.chatgpt.com. Then you do have Explore tab, Images, Videos. If you click on Images, you can start asking for images as well from here. You can describe your image, you can upload from here, and you can get up to 4 versions. I think they are working on that one. Currently, you can create 2 versions at one time. And I think it's slightly faster than generating images in ChatGPT. So for instance, you can download that image and maybe start asking for a hero section for your website, or an image like that one. You can crop it and upload it to Sora to get maybe the image without a text, or even you can ask that one inside ChatGPT if you want to do that. And even I asked it for a contact us page and it gave me a one matching our landing page. So as you can see, you can get a grasp of your branding or advertising campaign in one session inside ChatGPT, along with MidJourney, DeepSeek in there as well. And even we're going to discover how to create ads, and very creative ads using different techniques, slightly similar to that one, but with a little bit of reverse engineering, okay? So stay tuned for that one. Alright guys, hopefully this sparked something in your mind. Please consider liking and subscribing, as this really helps the channel. Take care, and I'll see you next one. Bye.